Michael worked for 38 years, saved 1.1 million in his 401k, did everything right. Then he retired at 64. Felt great, felt ready. And then 3 years later, he sat across from me with a look I've seen too many times. Not panic, not anger, something worse, confusion. He said, "Kevin, where is my money going? I'm not spending more than I planned, but every year I feel like I'm falling further behind." So I pulled up his tax return, and right there on page 2, I showed him the number he'd never seen before. Over the next 20 years, based on his current account structure, Michael was on track to hand the IRS over $400,000 of his own retirement savings, not because of bad investments, not because he spent too much, because of the type of account he'd been saving in for 38 years.
The 401k.
The 401k, the one everyone told him to max out, the one his HR department promoted every open enrollment, the one financial media been praising since 1978. That account.
Yep.
And here's the part that really got him. There was a window right before he retired where he could have moved that money into a tax-free account and paid almost nothing. He missed it. Not because he wasn't smart, not because no one told him, but because no one told him that the window even existed. I'm Kevin Ross. He's Matt Floyd. And welcome to Plan Life Right, where we show you what Wall Street won't. Today we're talking about the Roth conversion window, what it is, who it's for, how long it lasts, and what happens if you miss it.
Kevin, before we get to the solution, help me understand the problem. Most people are told their whole career, max out the 401k, get that company match, defer the taxes. What exactly is wrong with that advice?
It's nothing really. For the first 30 years, the 401k is a great accumulation tool. You get a tax deduction today, the money grows tax deferred, and you build wealth. That's real. The problem is what happens on the other side, because all of that money you deferred, the IRS has been patient, very patient, but they haven't forgotten. And every dollar into that 401k is pre-tax money. And the moment you pull it out in retirement, it's taxed as ordinary income.
So it's not tax-free, it's actually taxed later.
Exactly. And later has a way of being much more expensive than people expect. And here's why. Let's say Michael's got a 1.1 million in his 401k at retirement. He thinks he's got 1.1, but he doesn't. Part of that belongs to the IRS. He just doesn't know how much yet because it depends on tax rates and when he pulls it out.
And those rates could change, and I'm betting they typically go up over time, right?
Yeah, they almost certainly will. And here's the context that most people don't know. It's tax rates today are near historic lows compared to the last 50 years. The tax cuts and the Job Acts of 2017 lowered rates across the board. Mm-hmm. Those tax cuts sunset unless Congress extends them, which we know they haven't agreed on anything.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're in work right now.
Yeah. The 22% bracket goes back to 25. The 24 goes to 28. And on top of that, we've got surging national debt, historic government spending, Social Security and Medicare facing funding shortfalls. The pressure is to raise taxes is going to only go in one direction. So Michael deferred his taxes during a low tax period, and he may end up paying them during a high tax period. And that's the trap.
But there's more than just the rate, right? There are other things that get triggered.
Yeah, there's 3 big ones. And this is where it gets painful. So problem number 1 is the required minimum distribution,
RMDs,
RMD. Yep. At age 73, the IRS forces you to start withdrawing a percentage of your pre-tax accounts every year, whether you need the money or not. So on 1.1 million, that's roughly $44,000 a year, mandatory, and it goes up every year. Yep. And then you got Social Security taxation. Once was your provisional income, Social Security plus other income exceeds $44,000 for a married couple, in this case already, now you're taxed up to 85% on your Social Security, okay? That RMD income counts. So pulling from your 401k can trigger taxes on money that you thought was actually separate.
Yeah.
Actually working on a case like that right now.
Yeah. Man, I hope I could talk to him before he makes a decision.
Oh, boy. Every day. All right. And then problem number 3, IRMAA, Medicare surcharges.
Hurricane Irma.
Irma is not your friend. Let me tell you. Good God. All right. If your income, including RMDs, exceeds certain thresholds, Medicare charges a surcharge on top of your Part B and Part D premiums. And that can add $500 to $600 or more per month per person. Another hidden tax flow that flows right from the same pre-tax account.
Yeah, it's not a $5.99 surcharge that's getting tacked on. It's hundreds. It could be thousands depending on what your Social Security is.
Right. And we hear it all the time. People are like, oh, no, that's separate. No, it's not.
It's not to the IRS.
Right?
It's the same bucket.
Same bucket, baby. Tax. So when I showed Michael his $400,000 tax bill, it wasn't one number. It was the sum of 20 years of RMD taxes, plus his Social Security getting taxed at 85%, plus IRMAA surcharges on his Medicare, all flowing from the same account source, the one pre-tax account.
Yeah. Tax-free.
Exactly.
That's not a surprise bill. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. That's a 20-year slow drain.
Yeah. And the worst part is it was really completely avoidable, right? If we'd gotten to Michael before he retired, we could have changed the entire picture. And that's what today is all about.
All right, Kevin, you mentioned a window. What is that exactly, and why does it close?
The Roth conversion window is a period between when you retire and when your RMDs kick in at 73. So for most people, that's roughly ages 60 to 72, right? During those years, your income is often at its lowest point in decades. You've stopped working. Social Security may not have started yet.
Yeah, hopefully it hasn't started till age 70.
Yeah, right? We had that on earlier.
Yeah, we had a podcast about that. Go find that one, guys.
Your RMD hasn't kicked in. Your taxable income is genuinely lower than it's been in 30 years.
Right.
That's the window. And during that window, you can move money from your pre-tax 401k or IRA into a Roth IRA. You pay taxes now at today's lower rates.
Yeah, the devil you know.
Exactly.
I know what the rates are today.
That's
I don't know
right.
what they're going to be in 10 years.
Yeah, and from that point forward, that money grows tax-free.
Right.
Comes out tax-free. No RMDs, no IRMAA triggers, no Social Security taxation impact.
So you're basically prepaying a smaller tax bill to avoid that bigger one later.
That's exactly right, Matt. And here's how the math plays out for Michael specifically. Michael has 6 years before Social Security starts, 9 years before RMDs kick in at 73. During that window, his taxable income is low. We do nothing. The full $1.1 million stays in the pre-tax accounts, keeps growing, and at 73, he's looking at an account potentially worth $1.6 to $1.8 million with mandatory withdrawals of around $65,000 or more a year.
And it's taxed as ordinary income every single dollar.
Every single dollar. Stacked on top of his $38,400 in Social Security, most of which becomes taxable too. He's looking at over $100,000 in combined taxable income a year. So potentially in that 22-24% bracket with IRMAA surcharges pushing his Medicare premiums up by like $300, $400 a month.
But what if Michael had done that Roth conversion during that window while it was open?
Here's what the numbers look like. He pays around $85,000 in taxes during the conversion window, but he avoids the $280,000 to $400,000 in taxes over the rest of his life. And that's the math that broke Michael.
And that's because he missed it.
And it wasn't because he wasn't smart, right? He wasn't planning, and that's what we run into every day here. It was because nobody sat down with him before he retired and said, you have a window, and here's how to use it.
Kevin, for someone who's listening right now, who's between 58 and 70, Maybe they're already retired. Maybe they're close. Hopefully they're close.
Yeah.
Walk them through what a real Roth conversion looks like.
All right. So there's 3 steps, and I don't think they're very complicated. They do require someone who can run the numbers for your specific situation because the wrong conversion amount can actually cost you more.
Right.
So step 1, you got to know your window. Figure out how many years you have between now and age 73, and that's your conversion runway. You're 65 with Social Security not yet started. You may have 8 years of low income. If you're already 71 with Social Security started, your window is much smaller, but not necessarily closed. So then you got to find your bracket ceiling. So in 2026, the 22% bracket for married couples tops out about $201,000 in taxable income. Your goal is to convert just enough each year to fill it up, but not exceed that tax bracket. So converting beyond it pushes you into 24 or 32, which shrinks the benefit, okay?
Negates it almost.
That's right. And then step 3, protect the triggers. Before you convert, model the impact on your Social Security taxability and your Medicare IRMAA thresholds. A Roth conversion that pushes you over the IRMAA cliff can cost $6,000 to $8,000 in extra Medicare premiums, which is erasing part of that tax benefit, okay? Your advisor needs to run this calculation before you convert. Very important.
Yes. Some people make all 3 of those mistakes at the same time.
Exactly. The most common mistake that I see advisors make is converting too much in year 1.
Yep.
We've had to dial that back with some of our guys. They see the math, they get excited, they move $200,000 in a single year, and their client ends up in the 32% bracket, triggers IRMAA, pays more than they needed to. It's slow and strategic. That's what wins the game every single time.
What about people who dabble in my specialty over here, IULs and annuities? How does that change the picture?
A great question. Surprised you asked. If you built cash value in an IUL, tax-free loans from that policy can actually be used as a bridge income during that conversion window. So instead of pulling from your 401k to cover living expenses, which could reduce the space available for conversions, you use IUL loans. It keeps your taxable income lower, which gives you more room to convert.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most powerful combinations in tax-free retirement planning.
So the IUL and the Roth, they're working together.
Exactly right. When they're obviously structured correctly.
Right.
The IUL covers the living expenses, the tax-free during that window.
It's not even income.
That's right.
It's like going and getting money from your savings
borrowing
account.
from your bank.
The IRS does not count that as
That's right.
income.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
The Roth conversion fills the tax brackets efficiently. By the time RMDs hit, you've dramatically reduced the pre-tax balance. And you built a tax-free income source that will last the rest of your life. All right, I want to come back to Michael because his story doesn't end at $400,000 lost.
What happened when you showed him the analysis?
He was quiet for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Is there anything left I can do?" And the answer was yes. Not everything, but there's some things. Okay.
Take all that money and build a time machine and go back and make the right decision. Was that it?
That's what he was thinking. Michael was 67, right? Okay, so he's still got a window. He has 6 years until his RMDs start.
Right.
But he built an aggressive. So what we did was that we built an aggressive partial conversion plan. So we moved $55,000 to $60,000 per year into a Roth until age 72.
Right.
Okay?
Take some of the sting out of it.
That's right. So by the time his RMDs hit, we removed roughly $330,000 into tax-free accounts. That's huge. We also restructured how he was taking his living expenses, pulling from a small fixed annuity that we set up, which helped keep his taxable income below the IRMAA thresholds. His Medicare premiums stayed at a standard rate instead of the surcharge tier.
Mm-hmm.
That alone saved him $4,800 a year.
So even at 67, the window was not completely closed.
That's right. It was narrower, of course,
Right.
but it was still open.
Right.
And every year you have in that window, it's worth using, right? Even a partial conversion strategy could save $100,000, $150,000 in lifetime taxes compared to doing nothing. So Michael's story isn't about what he lost. It's about what's still possible. But I'll tell you this, the advisor who will dominate the next decade are the ones who have this conversation with clients that are 58, 60, 62.
Yeah.
Before the window narrows, not at 67 after it's already smaller than it should be.
Right. I mean, most of those folks at those ages, they've got their head in the sand, but they don't even know.
That's right.
And if you have an advisor whose head is also in the sand, that is the worst
That's right.
combination possible. So if your advisor isn't saying words to you like IRMAA and Roth conversion windows, if you're not hearing those phrases in your annual meetings, you should probably find yourself.
Yeah, you're probably with an advisor that was great at accumulation, but decumulation's not.
Right.
Not
And if
their
you're an
strong
advisor who's not saying those words, IRMAA, Roth conversion windows, if you're not saying things like that,
That's right.
you need to find us.
That's right.
Quick. All of our contact info is
There you
readily
go.
available. We can show you how to have these conversations.
That's right. All right, so that's Michael's story, the $400,000 tax trap hidden in a 401k that did everything right, except plan for what came after. Don't be Michael at 67. Do the math you could have done at 60, okay?
Yeah, that window is open for you right now. Go to planliferight.com and find out how wide it actually is open for you.
Life happens fast.
Make sure your money's ready for it.
I'm Kevin Ross.
And I'm Matt Floyd.
This is Plan Life Right.